shit.
Up all night. Staying up all night. Up all night.
Welcome back to the Mantry podcast. I am your host, Reggie Milligan. This podcast is all about helping you cook better. It's meant to be listened to while you're cleaning or while you're commuting. The idea being that through audio learning, we can give you a couple tips here and there, and you can pick them up with ease while you're on the go, so that when you actually get in the kitchen, you're much more ready to go. So today, we're actually going to be talking about eating a little bit better. This is the 1-minute guide to eating healthy-ish. So to start things off, we're just going to do a quick little rundown. This isn't meant to be the be-all and end-all guide to being a healthy individual. This is just a couple quick hints that really help for eating a little bit healthier. So number 1, focus on your food. Ever notice that when you plunk down to devour, let's say, a bowl of ice cream, you savor the first bite, blackout, and then seem to tune back in for the final moments as you scrape the bowl looking for one last flavor hit? People in general are pretty unaware when they eat. This leads to a big issue, which is just mindless consumption. So simply taking less of something, in this case, let's say ice cream, and paying attention to each bite will curb your cravings, and you just won't be looking down at, let's say, an empty pint of Ben & Jerry's wondering what the hell happened. Now, the idea here is that, it's really easy to consume 2 or 3 times more of ice cream, pie, I don't know, pick your poison, a bag of Cheetos, when you're just not really paying attention. So one thing to do is just limit the actual portion you give yourself. A lot of dietitians and stuff, they talk about like just have half the size of your cereal bowl. If you love eating cereal, like just don't have such a big bowl. And it sounds kind of childish, but it is really, really effective. A lot of the times we're just trained to finish everything on our plate. So by 1, limiting the size of our portion, and 2, just focusing on every bite. First of all, you'll enjoy it more. And second of all, it's just a good way to cut down on this mindless eating phenomenon. So, next time you're watching a movie, don't just sit there and cram popcorn into your face and finish off 2 bags. Just, focus on each bite, enjoy it, take a couple kernels. It's a good little simple tip, and it makes a big, big difference. Sometimes it can be the difference between consuming 1,500 calories versus 500. Number 2, another funny sounding one, but surprisingly effective. Use chopsticks instead of a fork and a knife and a spoon. Well, don't replace chopsticks for a spoon. The spoons come in handy, but definitely for a fork. The idea here is that A, you're going to get better at using chopsticks, but B, it's just way, way, way more difficult to consume too much food when you're using chopsticks. So the idea behind chopsticks is create an international barrier, something you're not used to eating with all the time. It takes around 20 minutes to digest food. So if you're using that oversized spoon for your Fruit Loops, by the time the cereal hits your belly, you've polished off 3 bowls. Compared to chopsticks, it's just a lot harder to consume a lot more food in a short period of time using chopsticks over a fork or a spoon. So you can do chopsticks. Another thing you can do is try to just use a smaller spoon, smaller fork, use your left hand. These are gimmicky techniques, but when you're eating stuff that's not necessarily good for you, they work. Number 3, when you eat out, go Mexican or Thai. This is very simple guidance. Mexican and Thai food, it's really, really hard to eat incredibly unhealthy. I mean, there's going to be dishes in these cultures and these cuisines that are obviously on the unhealthier side, but generally speaking, with Mexican being like a lot of rice, a lot of beans, meat that's seasoned, pretty clean eating. I mean, Tex-Mex, whole nother story. You got tons of cheese, all that stuff. But like generally speaking, Mexico keeps it pretty clean. Thai food, another one, like green curries and pad thai, that type of thing. It just won't do as much damage as having a big honkin' burger with a bun and all the fixings, or a big plate of fries, or a 7-meat Italian hero. Generally speaking, there's minimal bread and there's minimal bread and empty carbs in these cuisines, and there's a lot more clean ingredients in things like Vietnamese, Thai, Mexican, Indian food. So it's easier to just change the country of origin here than necessarily deciding to eat healthy at the Neapolitan pizzeria. The fourth tip. There is an amazing book on this topic, and I read this book about 6 months ago, and it really blew me away. It's called Mindless Eating, and it's by Brian Wansink. And it is the only book you really need to read on this subject of kind of mindless consumption or using behavioral psychology to eat healthier. It covers a lot of the tips that we are going over here, obviously plus a lot more, but it's a fantastic book. It's called Mindless Eating by Brian Wansink, who's a PhD. So that is the 4 tips right there for eating a little bit healthier. The first one being focus on your food. So pay attention to what you're eating, savor every bite. You eat a little bit smaller of a portion for yourself, or create a smaller portion for yourself, instead of going and filling up a massive cereal bowl. Get a smaller bowl. And if you really feel like going back for a second, do that. But that little hurdle of having to go back for more will stop you from doing so. Number 2, use chopsticks, or use your left hand, or use a smaller spoon. These utensils that you use to eat can actually help you not overeat. Number 3, when you eat out, go Mexican or go Thai. If you're trying to eat a little bit healthier, cuisines like Mexican, Thai, Vietnamese, Indian, they're just naturally going to be healthier than the big barreling plates of pasta at the Italian restaurant or French food with cream and butter. So it's just sort of a simple little tip to change the cuisine, not necessarily the dishes that you go and eat. And 4, read the book Mindless Eating by Brian Wansink. Those are the quick tips for today. Thank you so much for listening. If you enjoyed this, share it. We hope you learned something. We hope you come back again. I'm Reggie, co-founder at Mantry. Have a good day and good luck cooking.